Yeah, the game this Friday coming up down at Ospreys. Obviously, Bognors Point win would put us basically through to the semis. You mentioned in your post-match interview that you're going with the same squad. Confidence in terms of getting that result with that squad?
Yeah, massively. They've got 13 players away, you know, Ospreys as well, and we've got to get the balance right. Gloucester and Sarries are massive for us as well, because that is ultimately our bread and butter. Yeah. But you know, we believe if we get a win down there, we probably have to have an away semi-final. If we get a 5-point win, we get a home semi-final. So this group are hugely motivated as well. You know, some of them haven't played a lot of rugby throughout the year. They've been the dirt trackers, the cannon fodder, the ones that do all the unsavoury chores, you know, in terms of defending and doing what the first team wants. So they've got huge drivers, you know, of their own. They trained really well yesterday, and we've got to believe that this group are good enough to come through. And that, you know, because, you know, if they were Ospreys at the full strength, we would probably have went full strength. Yeah. The nature of the game, because we want to do the best. But we do believe this group. Second half last week, they were far better than the first half, just because they had 40 minutes together. Another 80, I believe that more than capable of winning by 4 tries down there. The conditions will be a bit messy down at the Brewery Field in Bridgend, but you know, our packs improved hugely, our scrum and our line-out, and if we back that well, we'll be alright against them. So I think it's a good tournament for London and finding out some of them.
And no injuries out of the back of that game?
No, nothing major, no. I think everyone was pretty happy.
I think it was watching for Hackey going off the look.
Yeah, we've given him a bit of stick. In fact, he started 2 games and been carried off. Yeah, we think he's going to stay on for 80 this week. So he got a bit of that. The good thing about the way we run the place behind the scenes is, you know, a great example is not Vili at the moment. Vili's new to us, but Vadim Kobilas, the Moldovan Russian lad who we brought over, and it took him a year to get conditioned. And what I mean by that is to get him match fit for the Premiership. Vili, it's taken 2-3 months, and we see a totally different individual in Vili now than we saw 10 weeks ago when he arrived on scene, as in body makeup side. So it's been the right way for us with people like Vili. He struggled with a bit of cramp at weekend, but you see what the Kiwis give you, more so than any other nation, is the basics. When Vili puts the ball back in the tackle, when he makes his tackles, when he carries the ball, all his basics are good. So we're looking forward to seeing Vili at the top level at number 8.
Vadim's certainly been putting himself about this thing.
Yeah, if anybody saw the first 34 seconds at Biarritz, where Vadim basically said to the Biarritz number 5, "Welcome to Russia." He woke him up.
Probably last week's result as well put a real positive into the club as well, because a lot of the lads have been waiting for the chance to go and get a victory, because the second half was really good. So what they've done is now they've set themselves a level to play this weekend, and then I think that what that's doing is they get another good performance this weekend. That puts pressure on the so-called some of the first team starters, and that should then increase the level for, you know, to put pressure on for the next 2 league games that are coming up.
I think the pitch down at Bridgend will be a little bit worse than ours.
Well, ours is a fantastic pitch at the minute, but I no doubt we'll be discussing the stadium later on. What we have done well over the last 6-7 weeks, haven't we, is we're a good wet weather side at the moment. We won at Newcastle away. We play in the conditions at the stadium which are never good really, as in the winter. We get to Biarritz where it was a quagmire. So what we've done, we've built quite a hardy bunch really, about not mithering about the conditions, just going out, sticking to the game plan to suit us in those conditions, and that works quite well. Well, I think it's been a benefit to us. I think the England coach Lancaster wrote in the paper last week about we need to sort the scrum out to make the game flow a bit more, and our opinion is we need to keep the medical staff off the field to make the game flow a bit more. The scrums are probably the best it's ever been in my book, as in not just at Sale, just the engagement, there's less collapses and the refs are letting it play on. if it goes down, etc., etc. For us, it's suited our players, and we've gone. I think we're riding on up to stats about fourth best scrum in the competition at the moment, which is we've come a long way, really. And again, you know, the lawmakers are based in Ireland, the IRB. They change the laws on us, and it's for us to adapt. And we've probably first half of the season we've adapted well to them, and you know, long may it continue. We have another coach who works with us, Dan Richmond, a hooker, who played against us three for a long time at Northampton, second to play against if you ever got him in the first team. And he's got into coaching, and he does a lot of detail with our individuals, props, back row, back five, and then as a collective unit. So he helps brush Pete and I out on a 1 to 2 day a week basis. So the scrum laws have helped us, I think.
Old Chestnut, ping pong rugby. Every home match, the groans around the south stand tend to be a bit louder than the cheering when the ball's kicked away yet again. So can we not try running it a bit more?
It's a strange one. Just probably adding on to what Steve said. We probably have to go back to a little bit of basics early on. Was get a good scrum, get a good drive, get a good D, and play to their strengths. And part of that is where we're going to have to go over the next 12 months, 6 months, 18 months, is where we can actually then become even better at playing with the ball in the right areas, which means that there'll be less ping pong. But in that basis, we've got to have to start somewhere. You know, probably Sally's has been the best model, because they've went huge on D, huge on scrum, huge on drive, and never play any rugby in their own half, but top the table for many years. So we've got to, you know, I believe we've got to go that way to come forward, so then we get better. Teams then kick poor to us, you know, and we can then counter-attack a little bit more. And I think we've had to consolidate how we play, and then stick to that. Hence, like someone like Cipriani has been great this year for actually sticking to a game that isn't probably his natural game. But you look at Owen Farrell, you look at Charlie Hodgson, they've all got really good kicking games. Now we've had to incorporate that within our mindset. It may be a little bit frustrating for the people and on the eye, but you know, hopefully, as it has done, we are getting a little bit more confident in how we play. Teams are then kicking poorly to us because they don't want to have a line out or a scrum, because we're coping better there. And so, you know, hopefully we can then start a counter attack a little bit better. And the more used to we get to that, we get people in the right positions to do so. What I don't want is someone like Robbie Miller just having to go because he's not touched the ball for 10 phases or 10 minutes. You still got to stick to the team structure. And at the moment, it's quite a strict one, and we have to go that way to get. We're in a game every week at the moment. There's only been probably 2 games we've not been within 7 points this season. So to do that, we have to take an error-free game a little bit. And at the moment, that confidence has grown throughout the team, through a scrum, through a drive, through a kicking, and then eventually, when we get in their half, we can score some points. We need to be better at it. We need to have some better decisions. But at the moment, we have made I've made a conscious effort, certainly with the backs, to say the time will come once they kick poorly at us, we'll get them. And some of the times they get decisions wrong, but we're saying, blooming hell, run it. And they're saying they don't want to kick it. So getting the balance right between them making good decisions on the pitch is the big thing, and we will get better. So, you know, be patient with them. And that front, for me, is just be patient with some of them. But, you know, we will get there, and we'll be hopefully a more fluent attacking side as well. Steve touched on it before, it's a difficult stadium to play at with the wind, and we played our best rugby playing into the wind this year at home, London Irish, and Exeter second half playing up that way where the wind blows down on the main stand. Kicking is very awkward in there, and some of the kicks have looked, you know, extremely ugly in some of them because of the nature where they go, where they end up. And actually, when we've had it and played into the wind, we played really smartly this year.
And just picking up on that, I was going to ask about centres, which to me is where the creativity for the wingers to score those flying tries that those of us who watched that for a long time used to love watching, and I totally understand we have to have a solid base, and that's coming and that's looking great. Slightly beyond Johnny and Sam, who obviously slightly senior players, who do you guys think though of our current crop? I say that because I think Mr. Jennings always impresses when he plays, and he straightened the line to create a lovely try at the weekend. Who do you guys see maybe pushing those guys into retirement or on elsewhere?
Well, I think Andy Forsyth, you know, done all right. He's a different player from, you know, Johnny and Sammy are there because of their physicality. You know, teams fear Sammy. whatever anyone else says, you know, he is feared in the Premiership. He's one of the toughest boys I've ever seen on a rugby pitch, defensively and how he carries for such a small man. And we've got, as I said before, that's part of the reasons. They're not natural. Sammy's not a natural ball player. Johnny is.
There was a beautiful floating pass the other day.
Yeah, it must have been luck. But, I'm only kidding. Winning assistant. No, I'm only joking. No, I mean, I'm not trying to put Sammy down, but his main strength gets us across the game line, which helps is everyone. But Will Addison will come through, whether that be at centre or whether that may be a positional change for him coming up as well. But he's another talented young kid. Mark Jennings, you talked about. Sam Bedlow is a 17-year-old, played in the Jets games. Sam James had a lot of bad injuries this year with a dislocated elbow and a broken forearm, so he's had a tough time of it, you know, to Christmas. But them four are definitely the ones that are going to come through in this club. And you know, as I said, Andy Forsyth is a different player. He likes that outward arc. He went at that for the try for Charlie at the weekend. He had a break in the first half, so they are different. And you know, we've got to grow into them to understand the unsavoury chores that Johnny and Sammy do in defence and the hitting the ball up. They've got to get better at that as well, because as I say, against the top sides we generally have to be in an arm wrestle for 70 minutes to get that reward maybe in the last 10, and they'll grow into that. But definitely Will, Mark, you know, Andy Forsyth, Sam James, Sam Bedlow, there's five there that definitely are capable of, you know, playing at the top level. Sadly only two of them can at the same time, but you know, they'll give a good challenge to the two big lads.
Probably some people haven't seen a lot of Sam Bedlow and Sam James. Of course, we've seen a lot about the others, but the other side of it as well, they're actually big men, 6'4", 6'5". So if you start taking that into, once they really fill out, they've got great skills. And so we're going to end up with a few more that can sort of, not only they can get their arms free because of the size of them, they're able to tackle as well, so they're going to be great additions. Jennings is probably just as mad as a frog, so. Yeah, we love them.
Just talking about Leicester, a couple of questions for Dines. The first one is, are you going to be sending Richard Cockrell a Christmas card? Secondly, if they alleged that we were cheating, was there any substance to his allegations?
There has been an opinion poll this week that Richard Cockrell is going to be the first man to marry outside his own species. So, basically, what happens at Leicester, I'll run you through. That's I think the only game we've lost in the last 6-7 weeks. And we went to Leicester very confident, we've got a good away mentality, our preparation's right, we don't get too hyped up about the opposition, and because we've got our basics right, like Brian said, our defence is good, our scrum, our drive, our line out is good. So you can take on the big sides. And what we said, we had a referee that game who was only refereeing his third Premiership game. And he came into the changing room and the team was silent, and I said to the ref, he talks about his engagement, his cadence of what he's going to say at the scrum. Ref, we know all of that. All we want you to do is not bottle it here. Because we've lost so many games here by referees bottling it when 25,000 scream or boo or cheer. And the ref had a good game, didn't he? And there was certain instances where, against London Irish, 2 weeks previous, we had 5 scrums on their 5 metre line, for those who watched it. And we ended up being penalised when they were deliberately collapsing the scrum and they were wheeling the scrum. So what we did, we learned a little bit from that. That the referees are not dominant sometimes, and will they give a penalty try? And at that particular time we had about 8 scrums at Leicester. And what we were doing, we were about basically. As in not wanting to scrummage, as in not have a soft ear. But it's difficult for the referee to understand that. And the worst thing he can do is give a free kick. And the worst thing you can give is give a penalty, then we have another scrum. So you're in the same boat. It's a bit of gamesmanship. Now Leicester have done that ever since I'm on pictures back here. And so Cockers was right in his own way of saying, Sale have come here and done a job, because what we do say to the team is we've got to be within 7 points with 20 minutes to go to get the bonus point. and we got the bonus point. So it's not a win, but it's a small win for us. And it's off that under pressure as they are, because they do spend an inordinate amount of money with a big crowd, that when a side like Sale goes there and nearly beats them and gets a bonus point, the pressure flows out in the press conference with some people, and it happened to him that day. So it was right, but his bricks just came straight out the pram.